Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before I do begin, let me go ahead and give a brief little review. Now, in the last part, we had a lot going on. Deku, Marcy, and Chloe, they were getting prepared to attack Camp Searchlight's airport. And they were making their own plans. Deku mentioned needing to create a new radio beacon in order to relay to their vault the attack was going to be going down in the first place. He went to go ask Mr. House about securing these supplies. However, Mr. House gave Deku a bit of information. There's already a relay in the Lucky 38. All he would need is the access codes and to point the equipment in the right direction. Now, this definitely meant quite a bit. Not only was it shocking to hear about, but the overseers, they were not expecting to get a response from the surface today, let alone to hear about how these three, the only survivors of their expedition team, are seemingly trying to lead an assault on a facility full of enemy soldiers. I mean, he heard about how they were mutated. He heard about what the Enclave was. And he's heard that one of their squad members was turned against them. And that it's horrible. Hasashi, however, had a lot going through his mind. The last time he spoke to his son, he knew he went through a lot on the surface. But during that conversation, hearing that his son was tortured by the enemy soldiers and then dumped into the wasteland, I mean, that's horrifying to think about. He knows his son is strong, but he's not making that many jokes anymore. He's serious. Very much so. And with everything he's been through, he's worried that Izuku isn't the same young man who left their vault. Hisashi just has a feeling about his son, and it is very much not a good one. He wants to believe that Deku's okay, but no one would be okay after what he's described the surface world being like. And with that being said, let's currently pick up on day 680. A lot is going through Deku's mind. He does lay in bed. They talked yesterday with members of their vault. Marcy chatted for a while. Chloe, she chatted with her parents. And Deku, he avoided it again. He jumped right into business and only said hello to his father. I mean, Mr. House still has things pointed towards their vault. He can still communicate. Talk about what's going down. There's a lot that needs to happen in 5 days. And right now, that is another issue. Just getting everything done. It's going to be a monumental task. Herculean. And right now that it does go through Deku's mind. He's sitting there, zoning out and staring at the ceiling. No noise, no nothing in his ears. And he does just sit there, feeling the stress, feeling the anxiety. And he does go to finally blink himself out of it when Marcy does go somewhat shift. Him going to climb his way out of bed and go to sit at the edge, bring up his Pip-Boy, and rechecking the inventory they have from Vault 34. And in that inventory, he does see one thing he knows for a fact they are going to get a lot of use out of. a Fat Man launcher. That is good. They already have a Fat Man and a mini nuke ready. But there is a problem with that, an issue. It won't be enough. One mini nuke isn't going to do them justice. It's not going to do them any good. What they need is more. And right now, that is another problem. They can sell everything in their arsenal, except for the quad barrel missile launcher and the Fat Man. They have 6 fusion cores and 2 sets of power armor. Those 2 sets might be integral. He doesn't know if Marcy's ever tried attacking the Enclave base again. But they need to find out if they have anti-air opposition. They already need to inform people at the vault. No, not the vault. At Nellis. About their attack to liberate their vault. They need to make sure that that aircraft is up in the air. Or better yet, that those people can actually bring down hell on the Enclave. If they're able to get a vertibird up in the sky and keep it there, then they've got a lot they can work through there. I mean, blast out the soldiers and just take them out? Hell. They got out of there, right? So, break straight through their defenses. It sounds like a good idea. Just make sure to get in close and blow them all away. And that thought does go through Deku's mind. Right now, him thinking about going to the gunrunners and seeing about the price on a second suit of power armor. If they sell off the Brotherhood suit and keep the T-60, he might be able to use that for an assault. Take on John. If John does grow in size before then they'll have to change up tactics and move on from there. But the suit should get him past the Enclave's defense wall. If they're anything like Nellis, then it's going to be a bitch to even get close to the place. But if they're not, they can use that to their advantage. Right now, him turning and bringing a hand up onto Chloe's leg. Him going to shake her awake a bit as she does his own stiffen when she does go to find herself awake. Her relaxing a bit as she does a silly sit up and look around, seeing that Deku, he does sit there. And Chloe does go to stifle a yawn and go to ask, rubbing at her left eye. What does he want so early in the morning? Huh? You have that look on your face. Like you're serious? I am. I'm gonna ask you a question, and I want you to be honest with me. No, I don't think you'd look good with a beard. I look great with a beard. But no. I'm hoping that you can stalk out the Enclave's base. If you camouflage yourself and getting close to the rifle. Find out if they have anti-air equipment. That is a big ask without coffee. I know. We can get you some coffee and plan a bit more about this later. If we do ultimately need to, we can stick you in a suit of power armor and throw you at them. I'm worried about their defenses because if Marcy goes in and she gets blasted out of the sky, it might kill her. If the Enclave are able to swarm her, then that's another problem. They'll capture her and execute her. And if they don't do that, they'll use her against both of us. We don't know what type of stuff they're dealing with, and we only know about their equipment. They're the only ones in the Mojave we've seen with vertebrates and mutants. Right? But our vault has plans to, I know. But that'll take time. Time we don't currently have. They know about the false front door, and they should be able to make their way out from there. I got it. I can certainly do that later today. I can go tonight and stalk it out in the morning during first light. But if I'm going to do that, then I'm going to go back to bed. Get some more sleep. What are you going to do? I'm going to go talk to the gun runners about buying a lot of mini nukes. Are you sure that's a good idea? Do you really want to be carrying around that type of yield in your backpack? I should be fine. Besides, it takes a lot of momentum to set those things off. We have the basics, the big yields, the low yields, the tiny tots, and the timed. I think the big yields are best bet, but the tiny tots does have the best variety. It does, but it's not a big yield. And do you really think that it'll take them out? It's not about taking them out. We can use the tiny tots to scare them a bit more when we need to. If we do need to, we can use it to take out some of their equipment. Or if they do have the actual things, then fire it at the anti-air equipment, disable it, and then switch over to the big yields. It's just, in total, it's a whole thing. Besides, 8 missiles for the price of 1 is a pretty good deal. Sure, but at that point you might as well be using a missile launcher. We might be. Listen, it's just a theory, but if we're able to get this done, we're able to get this all done, we'll all be alright. I sure hope so. Yeah. Besides, I'm eager to get home. See my family again. Me too. Her going to lower her head, looking back up and wanting to say something as Deku does turn away. And that, it does somewhat make her a bit more concerned. Her ears going to somewhat begin to look anxious, as they do go to fold into her head, almost like a dog's. And right now, she does try to think about it a bit more. It's not important right now, but it might be later. Marcy is getting better. She's gotten better. But has he? Is he even in the right state of mind to fight John? No, not alone. If you can, draw John out into the open. Him turning his head. If I have the missile launcher or the Fat Man, I'll blast him away. But if we got one of those big yields, I'm staying far as fuck whenever I launch that thing. I've heard of the combat reports and you've seen the films. Don't gotta tell me twice. Trust me, I already feel anxious about trying to carry a backpack full of those things. Do you think I could toss one? They're like 5 pounds. What are you gonna do? Pull a Liberty Prime? I just might. I mean, hell. That robot is huge, and honestly, a nuclear football, that would be really cool to throw around. Then you might want to try and test it out later. Her laying back down. And Deku, he does get a nod. Right now, heading out of the room as Victor, he does inform them about how breakfast is being prepared for them. And about how if they do need to, Mr. House will allow them to use the broadcast station and the penthouse to contact their vault. And that is very helpful. And Chloe, she does have her own idea. Whenever Deku does come back into the room with coffee, Marcy, she's already beginning to stir. And Chloe does get to ask if the cons could be a backup force for them. She doesn't want to get them involved, but she thinks it would be a good idea for their vault to at least know about them. To be on good terms with them. They're the descendants of vault dwellers too. And that would be a good idea. They have an origin similar to theirs. In a few generations, their vault could be like the cons if luck goes bad for them. It's an idea you can pose to Papa Khan. But as far as I know, the cons are on good terms with the NCR or the Legion anymore. Since that guy died. Yeah, that is my fault. Him going to stare at her, sipping his mug as she does go to roll her eyes and talk about it. He would have mentioned they were all leaving. Besides, he just found out about her. And she wasn't exactly liking the way he was staring at her. It was really weird. I get it. Marcy going to sit up and yawn. Her going to stare at the mug of coffee that was provided for her on the bedside table. Her taking it and joining in the conversation as they do eat breakfast. Now, they do begin to make a plan for the day. Marcy does want to talk more with people at the vault. Deku does want to jump right into action, and Chloe is aware of her own task. However, Marcy, she does think better of her current task. While she would like to get everyone up to date on what to do, they do need more medical supplies. If she's going to be going into a war, they're going to need to make sure to have plenty of stim packs. She'll start hitting up a bunch of places and seeing what she can afford. And if she can, buy the stuff to make more. It should be good. And if she does need to, she can sell some of their current stock. Right now, them getting ready, heading out. And we do currently have over with Chloe. Whenever night does get a fall, she made her way that when night does begin to fall, she does find herself out near Camp Searchlight. She left Vegas and made her way down, heading straight for where the Khan's encampment was, over at Red Rock Canyon. And once that was done, she had to take the long way around, trying to get over to Camp Searchlight. She made her way down the road past the abandoned town, making sure to sneak her way around the back of Quarry Junction and into Good Springs, before taking the road all the way down to Prim. And at that point, she started to make sure to keep herself hidden. By the time she did find herself all the way over in Camp Searchlight, a few hours have passed. And time, it certainly had a way of slipping away from her. She does currently have Marcy's anti-material rifle. And she does currently lay there looking down at the base. Right now, she does have something covering the scope to make sure there's no glare from the moonlight. And she can see pretty damn well out here, especially with her night vision. There's a big building at the end of the runway. Right now, this place is on a bit of a slope. If they had the right resources, they could leap off of here and land in the power armor straight down onto the edge of the runway. But with the concrete walls they've built, this place certainly does look different. Camp Searchlight is that way. She found the road and was worried about following it. But from what she was able to find, there's not much foot traffic. The place is definitely active, however. She can see quite a few vertebrates sitting over at the other end of the runway, either on top of that building or sat down on the ground. The place has been cleaned up. There is a giant tower right there she's assuming someone might be inside of. And she's worried about that. However, she has yet to see any signs of anti-air artillery. And that's good. Right now, her going to bring up her Pip-Boy and go to report in. This is Chloe Mendez. She is currently reporting in for day 680 of their expedition. Right now, she is doing reconnaissance stealth on the Camp Searchlight Airport where the Enclave are currently stationed. She has a decent account on 5 different vertebrates currently here. Visual confirmation is currently unreliable. She can see 3 currently, but the building, it's bigger around. She'd say closer to 8 may be possible on top. And 8 may be suspected, with 1 missing because of the one they have apprehended. Along with that, she's been able to visually confirm 24 Enclave troops in power armor. Along with that, she has no visual confirmation on John. The walls are made of concrete. They've built them to be sturdy and have been maintained either from before the war or are post-architect. She doesn't see anything that can stop them from the air. However, she does definitely see different ways they could approach this. It's quite possible that something breached the front, but it was too much construction for them to fix. The underpass tunnel, the roadway, she doesn't know exactly what it is. There's an entrance leading into the airfield properly. It might have been for vehicles and or military transportation, but it has collapsed. And they appear to have reinforced it as an entranceway. Approaching the front door is a viable option, with enough firepower. However, she does believe that it might be the bad one. If they do approach that way, they can draw in a distraction. Mr. House's forces can go that way, and they can enter on the runway. Marcy can go overhead, and if they do need to, they can take out the tower if there is someone watching them. Her looking through the scope again, and she does try to see if someone is actually in there. She can see something moving around with light, and that's it. And right now she does have this weird fuzzy feeling in the back of her head. Her nearly uncamouflaging herself as she does grab the weapon and step backwards back onto her feet. She feels danger. She feels this dread, like there's something after her. Like there's someone there. No, a presence, but who the hell is that? And right now it does creep her right the hell out. Her turning and rushing off. And it does begin to fade. Right now her making her way back over to the strip. And when she does arrive the next morning, she does make sure to take her time. This weird sensation of being followed or watched left her a little paranoid. And by the time she does arrive, she has to crash in bed by the time the other 2 are awake. And Deku, he's already beginning to get more things prepared. Over at Nellis, the people know. He had an interesting chat yesterday with the quartermaster. They were interested in the vertibird, and that certainly was something. As right now, Deku, he does go to somewhat zone out. Thinking back on that conversation, he arrived to grab a giant duffel bag full of weapons. His Christmas sack, bring holiday cheer to the wasteland. Nah, it's just a gun. Now, Deku, he was asked by Quartermaster Raquel to help with the vertibird. A number of people have been intrigued about it, and they have been trying to see about the simulations and the VR computers about how to fly it. It's too technical. They get about 75% of the way, and then whenever they try and do a takeoff, they are hesitating. They've been able to get it off the ground, but that almost flipped this thing onto the side and nearly took out an engine. So she's hoping that she can learn how to fly it, and then she can teach some of the other older people how to fly it as well. Since if it does fall over, then it's going to be a problem. The other aircraft is ready to fly, but the people who are working on it are being very overprotective and are still fighting on their places in the aircraft. They helped repair it, so obviously they're going to be the ones who get the gunning seat. And Deku, he does sit there in the pilot seat. Raquel to his right as he does begin to start flipping switches. Him wearing a headset as she's a turn. Her looking over at him and the way he does mechanically begin to move around it. And it does begin to interest her. Right now, Deku looking up and flipping switches that are overhead with his left thumb. And she does get to ask a question. You're very good at that. Yeah. Why? Had to be. Then again, I was good at getting these things to take off. Landing was an entirely different story. Landing? Yep. I've been able to get these things up in the air in the simulations. However, if you're still having problems with that after we get it up in the air and everything's said and done, we might be able to swap some VR tips with our vault and your society. Him turning his head when he does say that, and she does somewhat stare at him before going to ask, is he nervous about it? About getting up in the air? No. About your vault? Him turning. I'd be lying if I said no. Why? You're different. Different? You have this feeling around you. Control, but you're scared. You're an odd one. Last time I saw you, all of you were different. You carried yourselves better, more relaxed. But I'm able to tell that you're tense. You're not afraid, but you're ready. Constantly. For any situation that might come at you. What happened? Deku actually going to freeze. And she can tell that the way his face does not scrunch up, the thought looks bad. Do you want the truth, or do you want the short version? Is the short version the truth? No. It's very simplified. What is it? We survived. That's it. And what's the truth? The truth is, we had to do a lot of things we're not proud of to survive. The Sierra Madre forced our hand. You're already aware of our unique circumstances, correct? You are some form of mutant. Yes, we are. Our DNA has been spliced with creatures of the wasteland. My metabolism is very high and is around 6 times that of a normal human. Sierra Madre has a lot of problems. And being stuck there for about 4.5 months will do that to you. It isn't easy trying to get food. Scrounging for chips, avoiding traps, and dealing with the monsters that are there. Even the air is trying to kill you. And we all had our own problems there. We were left without certain powers. And we met a lot of bad people who are now dead. It's a bad place, and I pray you never have to understand what I mean whenever I do tell you this. Never go to that place. It nearly killed us, and it'll chew you up and spit you right out. You will die there if you do pursue it. Greed can kill you. Her somewhat staring at Deku as the intensity in his gaze is way more than she was expecting. He's looking at her like she's prey, like she's his next meal. And right now, Deku, he does gotta look back up and go to flip something. Before he does go to pull back on the rotor, he does a pull back on the sticks and pull this thing up. Him grabbing the wheel as he does go to slowly begin hovering them up into the air and talking about it. Turning to her and asking. Him going to lower it back down and beginning to give her a lesson on this. And the two, they do still continue chatting a bit more. Her still curious about what the vault skills were, what they were taught. And Deku informing her of quite a bit of things he's aware how to do. Now, Deku does want to snap back to attention. Right now, him thinking about a lot. They do sit in the cocktail lounge and are trying to make a plan. They have no anti-air artillery. And right now, that's good for them. They can bring the full might down onto those bastards. And Deku, he does find himself grinning at the plan. They're going to come in from one side while the robot army, Marcy, and the boomers draw attention. It should be good. Marcy will be able to get a lot of attention. And they, hopefully, will be able to take out the Enclave forces. If him and her can draw in a lot of attention, that will be good. And right now, there is the plan. Chloe can head in through the front. Deku, he can potentially ride in on the Scorch Beast, but he also has an idea about going in the Vertibird. Chloe, she does like the idea. She can slip in with the ground forces and potentially do a lot more damage. However, they can also hold the entrance point to make sure no one does escape. Marcy can ground aircraft, and all that would be left is the building. All that would be left is making sure if John does come out into the open, they can take him down. They have a Fat Man launcher and quite a few chances for that. The plan is set and it's ready. And people do begin to somewhat try to relax. Mr. House does give them an update every day, letting them know about what to do. And there currently is Deku. Currently, he does sit there the night before the attack, thinking about a lot. He does currently have a few things going through his mind. Going to stand and making his way over to the penthouse. Whenever he does it, is step in. Mr. House, he does go to try and tell Deku about a few things, to which Deku does nod and express. He was hoping to chat with someone back at the vault, he means. And of course, the relay is still active. I can patch you through in a second. Thank you. Him connecting his Pip-Boy and going to wait. Hello? Yes. Hello? Is this Izuku Midoriya? It is. Yes. It's been a minute. Yes, we haven't heard from you in a second. I can send a message to your father over the radio. We'll get him here in a second. Thank you. I'm just, I'm not sure if this is a good idea. Excuse me? Messaging your father? I guess. I don't know. I'm having a lot of doubts about everything. I wanted to talk to him, but he'll probably just tell me the same hard-ass stuff. I don't know about that. We've all heard stories going around about what happened up there. And what happened to all of you. I'm sure he's softened up. I mean, my brother Matthew, he had a tough time. And my dad, he was a bit of, but it all worked out fine. Especially growing up. Then again, my brother, he was a bit of a hard ass, but he did learn his lesson the hard way. We're twins, Oh, I think I know who you are. Matthew and Marcus, right? Yes, that's us. But I'm surprised that you know about us. I've got a good memory. Besides, twins are rare in the vault. Chloe's got a twin sister, and she knows who you are. She's talked a little bit about you, but, I'm honored, actually. But, yeah. Do you want me to message your father, or do you just want to have a chat with someone native who understands your... Well, I don't understand at all. I'm fine. My dad would be fun to chat with. I'm sure he has questions. Right. Yeah, I can do that. I'll get that message sent out right away. Him going to send it. And Asashi, he was relaxing in the quarters of their room. Right now, Inko, after hearing about what happened to her son, she was trying to get a few things prepared around their room, around their resident, to make sure things are comfortable when he does come back. I mean, a lot of people were willing to contribute some of their Unstoppables comics, along with a few others and stuff that has been made by some other residents. It's a bit fanficky, but a lot of people in the vault have liked it, and it did get a few issues. So there is that. And right now, she has a someone stare at the stack of books she has sitting in Deku's room, along with some of his old vault suits and even a picture on the desk. There's a lot of things she wants to talk to her son about. But surviving on the surface, all these other crazy factors and things, he was tortured. She knows that Izuku's endurance is high. I mean, she looked through her son's psych evaluation. It's good. Whenever it does come down to mental resilience, he scores high. But her husband wants to say otherwise. It's the tone of his voice. She's not sure if that's the case. Yes, Hasashi's better at reading people, but she knows how people think. She knows the little things they don't think about themselves, that they don't realize that they're doing. She's also worried about her daughter. Mia wasn't allowed in the room when they got the information about the broadcast. She was a bit temperamental that they didn't tell her, but the overseer was the one she learned her brother was alive from. She can't blame her daughter for being angry. Mia wants to know if he's okay. I mean, hell, she's already talking about busting his chops and asking her crazy, stupid questions about the surface. She's also asked if she thinks he has scars. And as a medical professional, she doesn't want to answer that question. If they've put her son through different things, she's expecting problems. Did he lose a hand? Did he lose an eye? Did something else happen to him? Christ, I mean, they know people are on the surface. And not only that, but mutants. It's a whole new understanding of the world. And she does somewhat sit there alone thinking about it. Before Hisashi does get to step into the room and tell her. He was told that Izuku's on the radio. And she does get to jump up. Him bringing a hand up and talking about it. The guy mentioned he only wanted to talk to him. He's my son. I know. Hey, I know. Listen, do you really think motherly affection is what he wants right now? Do you really think you being tough on him is what he needs? I'm not. I know, Inko. Honey, I get it. I'm trying, okay? There's a lot I want to say to him, and I've been trying to think about it. But it's... I understand. I'm sorry. He's my son too. I know, honey. I know. That's why I'm telling you I'm going to chat with him. I'm not going to hide it from you. I'll ask him if he wants to chat with you too. Maybe even Mia, now that they all know. But other than that, it's happening. Him going to turn. Going to wait as Inko doesn't open her mouth. She doesn't say a word and she does get to let him leave. Hasashi making his way over as a lot of people do to see him making his way towards the comms room. Some whispering about it, and others wanting to know. Tommy and Connor, their families were already informed of their deaths, and having it be confirmed, it's not something they like, but they know it happened. As for John's family, they're not exactly very social at the moment. Now, Hasashi does it pass a blonde girl in the hallway. Right now, her seeing him and looking down, looking at his name. Before she does, go to nod at the man and turn, making her way down another hallway. And Hasashi, he does quickly move through the corridor and get there. Before he does a sit down and put on a headset. Him expressing, "Hi, son." "Hey, Dad. You alright? You've been kind of evasive these last couple days." "I know. I'm not apologizing for that. It's been a crazy time up here." "I'm sure it has been. You wanted to chat about something specific?" "I mean, I'm not the emotional type, son. That's more your mother." "I know. I just want you here." "I don't know how to start this conversation, Dad, and I know we're both blunt men. I killed Tommy, and Connor died." Hasashi freezing, as Deku does inform him. Tommy went crazy. He had to put him down after what he did. And, well, now he feels like a hypocrite. He's gonna need to kill John too, but for different reasons. John and him have never seen eye to eye, but he doesn't feel right killing him. He's a victim in all of this. "I understand, son. I don't envy your position. I don't want to be in it. I'm just tired. I want to come home and I don't know. Something about being out here is I I don't like what it does to me." "I see. You always have a place. Izuku, here. This is your home." "I don't know. I mean, hell, Dad. I've killed so many people, I've lost track. I've fought in a war already once, and it made me feel alive. I don't like it." "You fought in a war?" Yeah. Like I said, we've seen a lot of crazy stuff out here. Um, we found ourselves in Zion. It's in a report, but if you want the whole story, we tried to ambush an Enclave patrol and we were abducted by aliens. Believe it or not. Afterwards, we started marching back. We nearly landed in Wyoming when their spaceship crashed and I was impaled. Hisashi freezing. It took us 2 weeks to find Zion National Park. We found the Salt Lake City obliterated, and Zion was a beautiful place, free of radiation but full of the native tribes. We killed some who were a part of a tribe called the White Lakes. It was an extermination, and we met a man who we helped kill their leader with. He gave me a 45. and I've been using it ever since. After that, after that, I, we, we tried to find help, but we didn't find anything good out there, Dad. We didn't find anything good. We just survived. We found monsters. We, we found hell. Izuku. I mean, I don't. What do you mean? I'm so confused. Are you okay? No. No, the fuck I'm not. I've been trying to keep it together for their sakes, but I'm barely holding on myself. I've seen crazy things that don't make sense, clones fighting each other, fucking flaming skeletons appearing in the night, ghost trains, and mutant monsters. Things that don't die no matter how much you put a bullet in them or kill them or stab them. Things that just, you have to cut off their limbs, and even then they scream this ungodly noise. They just don't die. They never died. I'm sorry. I have to go. Deku pulling his Pip-Boy free from the machine. And Hisashi, he does try to call out for Deku on his side. And right now, he does feel like he has a glimpse into a bit of the things his son has experienced. And he's not sure if it's a good thing or not. I mean, all of this sounds insane. Adopted by aliens, ghost, a tribal war, and monsters that are immortal, but scream after you chop their limbs off. I mean, he's gonna need to he's gonna need to talk to his wife. Right now, Hisashi heading back and trying to inform Inko about this, hoping that they can perform some more in-depth research and figure out the best strategy for what these three have gone through. He doesn't know what's going on in the world above, but he's going to believe his son. If the world is as crazy as he's already said it is, this can be just as believable. He won't doubt him. He's going to give him his full support. Izuku was many things, but whenever things got bad, he was reliable. He always knew when to be serious, and he sounded like he was having a mental breakdown on the other end of that line. Now, Deku, he does just try to recompose himself. Him wanting to break everything around him, but he doesn't. He holds it together. And his body, it does go to someone have its own transformation spasm. He does shift and get back in control. Shift and get back into control. His body trying to force a change into a Deathclaw. And by the time his panic attack is done, he does as someone sit there in front of the elevator, sweating bullets and finally back in control of his own skin. Right now, him stepping in and going to make his way back down to the presidential suite, where he quickly does go to avoid Marcy and Chloe. Him being able to hop in the shower to try and cool himself off, just to try and not have a conversation right now. Be alone. Be prepared. Get his head back on straight before the battle. And that was easier said than done. And we do have the day of the attack. Everyone woke up today in a bit of a mood. Everyone knows what's going to be going down. The people in the vault are still scrambling and trying to figure out when the attack will come. When the world starts to shake again, that will be their sign to open their doors. People are scrambling. People who know about energy weapons and who do know how to do certain things with machine skills are working together on improvised explosives. People have been making Molotov cocktails, energy bombs, hell, makeshift plasma grenades. They've been making sure to work on their power armor as well. They've got 10 sets, and from the report they've got from the surface, God, they love saying that, those people have more than 24 potential power armor units, along with John, who's some sort of mutated super mutant. And, well, they've been able to throw together some other sets of power armor in the last couple days. They're not built up to perfect specs, but they're almost like their versions of their upgraded power armor set. They're not like the old standard T60s, but their T80 units should be working fine. Right now, everyone thinking about this. They've talked about makeshift power armor on the surface. That was one thing that was in the report. But this is more unified. This is more made in a shop, not made of scrap. It might as well be T45, but, well, it's hopefully better than that model. And that thought does go through some of the mechanics' minds. Them going to work on the helmets and try to get them done. They just need to protect someone's face from being attacked. And right now, there is over with Deku, Marcy, and Chloe. They made their way to Helios 1. They made their way over to Nellis, marching their way over there and well aware of what the data is going to hold. It's certainly interesting. They are welcome to Nellis, and they do get to read the expressions and body language of multiple people here. The attack will go on this afternoon. Mr. House, he was told about the time. Currently, Deku stepping into their barracks as Marcy and Chloe do hold the remaining bag of firearms they have. A lot of their smaller arms were sold off, and a lot of their big arms are still here. The Fat Man and the missile launcher do stand out in that bag. And Chloe does go to gently set down a bag that people do to stare at. Her zipping it open as someone, they do a gasp, followed by the crowd taking half of a step back immediately. Since that bag is full of fucking mini nukes. And Deku does come stepping out and talking about it. Him in the T60 power armor and holding onto the helmet. And people do to stare at him. Right now, him bring up the mechanical hands of the armor. Him going to turn and set the helmet down on the windowsill, making his way over and telling Chloe if she's going to be getting in the armor, then give it a bit of a test drive. Him going to somewhat rotate his arms and then going to bring up his feet, trying to run in place and talking about how they need to know the type of performance these things have, since they have been sitting around for a bit of time. And she does it to understand. Marcy taking inventory of all of the guns inside this bag, updating the list before she has to find a small firearm that she doesn't remember being cataloged. And she does not reach down and pull out an energy pistol. Her staring at it. She remembers that they got this from Vault 34. and it was locked in a container, locked tight. Huh. If she remembers correctly, information was erased off of the vault computer about this thing in the armory. This pistol does something. Her turning and going to aim where no one is currently facing. Pulling the trigger and nothing goes to happen. Her staring at that as the edge of the weapon does go to let a small charge firing into that direction. An energy arc. It's almost like a Tesla cannon. Okay, but what can this gun do? Okay, it runs off of... What's the ammunition here? Okay, but it's just an energy weapon then. But why would it be kept so secretive? Why would it be important? Okay, it's an energy weapon that doesn't immediately fire. But why is that? Energy weapons are good against power armor? They're not bad against it, but they're also able to vaporize nearly anything through prolonged contact. So what? This was something important, something special? Her turning. Seeing that Chloe and Deku are both trying to do a form of agility test with these armored suits. And she does have an idea. It's a bit of a stretch, but there's a reason why this thing was put into the vault, right? Okay. Deku. Yeah. I have a theory about this gun. Really? The thing's totally useless. I almost sold it to the gun runners. I don't think they would have gotten any use out of it, though. Her going to shake her head, and Chloe does talk about it. Getting that thing was tricky, but she's gonna have to agree. She doesn't think it was worth it. And she does get to ask if she can fire it at the two. Sure. Her aiming it at them and going to fire. And Deku, he does stand there. He does get to feel the light shock run up against his skin. And he does get to try and turn his armor. However, he does get to find that his suit does not respond to the controls he's manipulating. And the moment he does go to turn his neck, but his body does not go to follow, he does a somewhat freeze. Him trying to manipulate his armor and wiggling in place. Before, after about 10-15 seconds, he does get to find his mechanical arms going to move. And Marcy does just going to stare at Deku the whole time, her eyes slowly beginning to register what this thing is meant to do. It's a fucking EMP gun. And by the way Deku's face does it register shock, he had the same realization. And Chloe does gonna throw her hands up in the mechanical suit and begin a bit of a happy dance, talking about how their luck really is changing. And people do get to stare at this giant suited woman. She is doing a happy dance in a mechanical supersuit. And that woman can turn into a giant bat. Well, it's a good thing they're going into battle today, because there's a lot of things they weren't expecting. And right now, everyone, they do begin to feel the stress somewhat pouring in. The tension might have began to bleed away staring at these three act that way, but it quickly began to set back in. Marcy, she got the go-ahead to leave. The vertibird is already unpacked, and they put a fresh coat of paint on the side, indicating it as a friendly vessel. Meanwhile, there currently is the fact that the power armor is all ready to go. And the bomber, it is being rolled out of the hangar right now by the pilot. And Mother Pearl, she has a mighty fine grin on her face. She has the honors of being the first person in her tribe to fly the bomber. Quartermaster, she already had the honors of flying the vertibird. And the people aboard the vessel are ready to do what their ancestors intended for them to do. Blow a lot of shit up. And right now, everyone, they do begin to head off. And the kids do get to watch on in both creepy fascination and awe about the giant woman who turned into a bat. She does get to fly up into the air and begin to gain more altitude. Meanwhile, the quartermaster, she does begin to go through her pre-flight protocols with the vertibird beginning to get up into the air. And Chloe, she does catch a ride from Marcy. Right now, if things do go according to plan, it will go well. And the bomber, it does go to slowly catch up with liftoff. Marcy's flying ahead. When she gets close enough, she'll shrink back down and drop off Chloe. By then, Deku and the vertibird will be in range to shake the world with either a high yield attack or a mass bombing of the area. And this is good. Meanwhile, there currently is the Overseer. They all cataloged combat points for everybody in the vault. The public sector fell behind miserably. However, they are on standby to help medical staff and to deal with anything that might pop up, any repairs that need to be done in case things get too bad down here. Meanwhile, people with the highest scores were handed out power armor and weapons, and the overseers, they do get ready. Hasashi Midoriya does stand there in one of the lesser suits of power armor. Along with 15, 14 other people, he's one of them. He's terrified. But he told his wife he's going to go up there and bring back his son. And a man does come walking up. Him crossing his arms and nodding at Hasashi about what to do. It's going to mean quite a bit. But he does need to bring Izuku back alive. Hasashi turning and going to nod to his brother. And the man does give him a bit of a smile. It's strained. It's, well, terrified. But he does it to cover it with that helmet. However he does it to make his way back up to the vault door, it almost feels like a send-off. Was this what his son felt that day? He's marching into the outside world to battle. His heart's thumping, his hands are sweating, and he can feel himself shaking in the suit. He's terrified. But he's never felt more alive. He's broken up brawls from drunken idiots in the bar, had to deal with fights in the game room, and a lot of different squabbles that have happened in his time as a security guard. But today is a day he might actually have to kill a man. It's something else. And right now, there is where the Scorch Beast, it does go to drop off Chloe, and she does go to start heading in. Right now, an army of robots beginning to crest over a hill. As a vertibird does come into view. The Scorch Beast going to wait as there is where it does at a fly over Searchlight's airport. And people, they do begin to look up at the strange craft that is here. all of their vehicles are still here. However, is someone missing one? Did someone show up late? I mean, the only one they're missing is a loud whistling being heard, followed by multiple others. And the chorus of those whistles do begin to make a screaming sound to the air. Before the ground does get a shake in the Enclave soldiers, they do have to duck, dive, or roll for cover, or just hope that their suits can protect them from the volley of fire coming their way. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing night. I'll catch you guys in the next part.